Hello, this is the TradeSight Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, May 11th, 2014, ending Friday, May 16th. This is going to be options expiration week. As usual, let's start by looking at the US dollar index. We actually got some movement this week, had a couple of nice winners finally. Forex trading had some very slow action the last couple months, especially March and April, two of the slowest months that I can recall. But this week was much better. I'd take this week anytime. And it wasn't spectacular, but it was enough for sure. So here's the dollar index daily chart going back almost a year. You can see this horrible range we've been in since October. We were looking at that red, now dashed line, which is the static trend line of the last 9-bar move up and the Seeker 13 sell signal that's still in place that we got in January. Very interesting that it's been now since that last 9-bar startup phase was back in October going into November. We've not had a 9-bar upward move. We've had 3 9-bar downward moves, as you can see, but no upward count since then. And then the 13 sell signal still in place. The reason the line is now dashed is because we closed below it and then broke the lows of that bar. But the funny thing is, right after we did that, we bounced hard and we actually got a big move in favor of the dollar, which is now taking us back near this green static trend line of this 9-bar move down. Unfortunately, it puts us right back in the middle of the narrow range, but it did cause a little volatility, which gave us some opportunities this week. And maybe it'll be the start of something bigger. We'll have to see. Let's take a look at the daily charts of our favorite pairs, and then we'll move on to the intra-week action, and then we'll take a look at the data that's coming out, see what we need to be aware of. So obviously, you can see the euro swept new highs when the dollar broke to new lows and then reversed pretty sharply when the dollar reversed. And they've got that red static trend line here on the euro to be watching for support. The euro has been very, very narrow, obviously. Pound didn't seem to do much. We did have our winners in the pound this week, but if you look at it, it looks like a blip on the radar. Here's the Aussie dollar. Not much there. Here's the New Zealand dollar pair, and you'll notice the 13 sell signal back in April came up near the risk line, the pink line of that signal, and rolled over. So that sell signal is still in place. Here's the pound yen. Got a 13 sell signal 2 weeks ago and has not violated the fairly tight risk line of that move, and that is rolling over. That's not a dollar-based pair, so it's always interesting to see where that lines up. Let's take a look also at the euro yen. Nothing there. I should also point out that I saw on the pound Swiss, for anybody that trades this interesting cross pair, we're now 12 bars up towards a 13 seeker sell signal on that pair as well. So let's keep that in mind going forward. All right, let's go and look at the intra-week action. We'll start with the euro dollar and 30-minute bars so you can see the whole week. And you will see here, total range for the week is really only 240 pips. Most of that was all Thursday into Friday. Before that, you can see how flat things were. One little news spike. So Sunday going into Monday's flat, one little news spike up, then dead flat Tuesday, dead flat Wednesday. Same thing we've been seeing lately. Actually had a day with 30 pips of range. That's unbelievable on the euro dollar. And then for, Thursday got a little wobbly, moved around, and headed lower, and Friday kept going lower. So you end up with 240 pips. I would take that anytime. And then the pound dollar, a little more active. This is where we made some money. We caught the up move and the down move. So the pound dollar, interestingly, only closed down about 20 pips for the week. But you can see, again, Monday very flat. Tuesday, nice move up. We had almost 100 pip winner there. Flat Wednesday, drifting lower Thursday. And then Friday, we caught this move down and made about 50 pips. So, you know, I can't complain about that type of action. We had one day where nothing triggered, so we didn't get stopped out. And 2 nice winners. So total range for the week on the pound, though, was only 150 pips. The euro actually traded more range than the pound based on Thursday and Friday. Here's a look at the Aussie. This is much less interesting. 130 pips of range. And here's the New Zealand. Not much there either. And here's the pound again. So we're not seeing huge volatility, but the fact that we finally got something to at least test and play around with that dollar index level and got some movement off of it, hey, that's a sign of life. I'll take it. I'll still be half size until we get a little more of that consistently, but it's definitely encouraging for the first time in a while in Forex. All right, let's go through the data coming out this week. One thing to remember, this is options expiration. It is a single expiration, not triple expiration. So here we go. We've got Japan's current account and bank lending numbers. To start the week on Sunday, Australia's NAB business confidence number. Monday, economy watcher sentiment out of Japan, retail sales out of Switzerland, New loans and M2 money supply out of China coming out somewhere, evidently between Monday and Wednesday. Does not specify. Fed budget balance here in the U.S. That's the Treasury number at 2 p.m. Eastern time. FPI out of New Zealand. M2 money supply out of Japan. HPI and home loans out of Australia. HPI out of New Zealand. 30-year bond auction out of Japan. Then we head into Tuesday, 1:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. China's retail sales, industrial production, and fixed asset investment data. German WPI, and then ZOO economic sentiment out of Germany and the broad European Union. Italy's 10-year bond auction. Australia's annual budget release. U.S. data, retail sales and import-export prices in the morning on Tuesday here. Business inventories to follow that. Bank of Canada's review, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. Retail sales out of New Zealand. CGPI out of Japan. Heading into Wednesday, German final CPI, preliminary machine tool orders out of Japan, French CPI, UK unemployment rate. ZOO economic data out of Switzerland this time, industrial productions out of Europe, Bank of England inflation report. In the US, we've got PPI, mortgage delinquencies, and crude oil inventories Wednesday morning. New Zealand's got their business manufacturing index that night, and Japan's got their first look at GDP for Q1, along with tertiary industry activity. New motor vehicle sales out of Australia, that's nothing that's going to move the market, of course. Annual budget release for New Zealand. Bank of Japan, got a speech out of the governor there, one of the bank governors. Consumer confidence out of Japan. French preliminary GDP and German preliminary GDP. Switzerland's PPI. ECB monthly bulletin out of Europe. And then the CPI and flash GDP out of Europe. That's a lot of data right in there to watch for Thursday between 4 and 5 a.m. Eastern time. CB leading index out of the UK. Manufacturing sales out of Canada. U.S. has got CPI and unemployment claims. CPI is one of our big three, so we would be less than our. We're already being half size because of the trading environment, but we'll be less than that going into Thursday with that data coming out. We've already had all the big data here in the U.S. this month, so don't have to worry about any more from half size perspective. Empire State Manufacturing Index also comes out at that time. TIC long-term purchases. Capacity utilization, industrial production, Philly Fed, NAHB housing market index. A lot of data that morning, Thursday morning here in the U.S. Natty gas, Yellen speaking. Going into Friday, we've got revised industrial production out of Japan, French preliminary non-farm payrolls, Italian trade balance, broad European trade balance, Canadian foreign security purchases, and then housing starts and building permits out of the U.S., along with the first look at University of Michigan sentiment at 9:55 a.m. Eastern time, or whenever the kids get up, as we like to say. It's a lot of data this week. The CPI is the only big one that I would be less than normal size, and there's some stuff out of Europe that same night. But maybe this will get some more stuff going. There's just enough data here. It's not the type of stuff that you have to wait for. You know, a lot of times the market slows up ahead of the Fed for a day or two, or slows up ahead of non-farm payrolls for a day or two. None of this is like that, but there is a lot of data that can at least move the market. So I'm cautiously optimistic that this will be another better, improved trading week for Forex. And we'll certainly be making the calls for you in the room. Hope to see you in the lab. Charts, as usual, brought to you by eSignal 11. Have a great weekend.